Hello everybody, and welcome once again to another edition of Inside the Headset. Here we are, week 1, game 2. I'm here with head coach Ron Aydelott. You picked yourself up a win against Brighton. You went through your radio show and you talked a little bit about having an extra day and whatnot. And since you've had that extra day, you also talked about a little bit about trying to work on basically good play, bad play, and some of those things. And so what have you been doing to try to kind of straighten out some of the things you talked about on Saturday?
Well, we got so many issues we got to deal with. We got to, we can't really afford an extra day off. So we've sort of kind of gone through our regular routine, and then we'll have an extra day where we'll do a lot of team stuff and try to just polish up some things. What our main issue is getting the kids that are filling in for people who are resting, that are money guys when they have to, they make a long run or they make this play or they're just simply gassed, is getting them up to speed with those people so we don't lose a whole lot when we put those people in.
Twos need to start becoming ones, become ones quick if you're going to be able to compete come postseason time.
Well, at least we got a trio, and what we mean by that is we're going to, we got 3 guards, we got 3 tackles, we got probably 2 tight ends, 2 centers. We've got to make sure that we are adequately prepared if something does happen.
Well, so you had an opportunity to look over the video for the Ballard Bruins, Coach Mike Jackson, I think it is, and talk a little bit about Ballard. What will Warrior fans see Saturday at 4 o'clock?
Well, they'll see a lot of similarities to what we saw this past Friday. We're going to see a spread offense, and they've got a couple of really good weapons. Their quarterback is very impressive. I'd say he's probably equal to the kid we saw at Brighton. They've got a big-time receiver, a Division I receiver that a lot of people are interested in, and he's very, very good. He's going to be better than anybody we saw at Brighton. The running back position is extremely good. They've got a couple of kids there. They're at least 2 deep there. And then they've got a big offensive tackle that is signed with the University, or committed to the University of Kansas. So defensively, they're bigger, they're more physical. They're just more athletic. So, I really think they're better than Brighton, and we got our hands full because we didn't play very well against Brighton.
Well, and they picked up a win, so, they're going to be, and they did not win last year. I think they had the South Carolina team that was highly rated. I think they, in fact, played before you did last year. So they're going to be hungry, being kind of the home team. They're going to be ready for Riverdale.
Yeah, absolutely. We've tried to tell our kids that, they got embarrassed up there in their hometown, and they're sort of kind of probably pointing to this game to try to mend some of those feelings, and hopefully, we'll pick up the pace a little bit, and we'll be ready to give them everything they want.
Well, you traveled. How'd that all go as far as loading everything up? Now another routine, just basically run another copy of the sheet and get the war wagon out and get the helmets, get everything going.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, we're not going to be on the war wagon. We're going to charter again. So that's charter. That's the Brighton trip's actually, even though it's in the state of Tennessee, is worse than this one. The trip to Louisville, it's long, and we prefer other, but it's not nearly as bad a trip. We get interstate all the way, and I think it's about 3 hours and 15 minutes. And
it's just right off 65.
It was a good trip last year. It wasn't a bad trip at all. Of course, we didn't take the trip to Brighton, so I don't know what back-to-back trips are going to do to us. So hopefully we can get up there and play well. Maybe get the win. Hopefully get the win, and then get back, and we'll be sort of kind of in our area at that point. And, our away games are not quite as bad. The next worst one would be Crookville.
Don't want to bring it up, but I will. You did discuss, or I did hear through some tweets, and I did hear a little bit on Saturday, or special teams. What have we done to try to, or even? Well,
it wasn't the part of the special teams that we felt like would be the issue. The kicking was, the kids kicked the ball well. We were 6 for 6 extra points. Todd Huber was kicking the ball inside the 10, consistently. Punting, we got every punt off. We had it blocked for the most part. Where our problems were fielding on the kickoff return team. We just didn't do a good job. Well, we didn't get on the ball. And the ball goes 10 yards. We just didn't do some of the basic fundamentals. A couple times on the punt team, we picked up a ball that was rolling that would have given the defense an additional 10, 15, 20 yards. It just did some little things. But the part that was pleasing, I thought the kickers did a better than adequate job.
Well, is there anything else you'd like to add other than you want Warrior fans to load up again and make the trip and support you?
We need a bunch of them. So, hopefully we'll go up, as I said, and our kids will shake off the trip from last week will get fired up to play, and the extra day maybe will help us heal up a little bit. We'll be excited to play on Saturday.
Coach, we'll be looking forward to watching you play. I'll be there myself. All right, we'll all join up and get yourself a doubleheader. One Friday, one Saturday, as the coach and the Warriors will be there 4 o'clock Central Daylight Time or Tom Nolan time, right there, Papa John's Cardinal Stadium, Louisville, Kentucky. Ballard Bruins, Riverdale Warriors, be there.